Good evening. Welcome. I think it's the first time this week I'm back to streaming. I had a let's say an extensive testing period trying to optimize my Game Boy game because I experienced a few slowdowns in areas with some actor movement scripts, and I tried a lot of different things, like alternating between movement, trying different things instead of movement, but unfortunately I didn't find a solution I was happy with, which means I have to make a choice. Either I redesign or design the level specifically to make use of smart encounters, so basically limit the amount of monsters on screen, but make sure that it's still challenging, or convert to Game Boy Color, which will allow me to use double the CPU, which will of course eliminate the slowdowns that I'm experiencing. Not really sure how to progress. I kind of I love the original DMG, like the 4-color aesthetic. So I'm not really sold on going for Game Boy Color. But if it's I'm gonna run a few tests, design a few levels and see if they're challenging enough by a limited amount of monsters. If that's the case, I can just proceed and I have to design my levels in a really smart manner. Or if that doesn't succeed, the levels aren't challenging enough, I could consider switching to Game Boy Color. Because in the end, fun is what matters most, and if it's proven to be too boring, then I would have to make the switch, I guess. So that's why this week is the first stream of the week. So I'm gonna let the idea rest for a few days, and then I'm gonna run some tests. I do have one level that is basically a good sandbox area, so I can try to come up with some different ideas, and we'll see what sticks. And then I can make a choice. There has been a Game Boy Studio upgrade recently, which fixes a ton of things. It adds a ton of features. One thing that's specifically interesting is that it adds the Platformer Plus plugin. This is now standard in GB Studio, which makes the game compatible with all future updates. Because now, if the plugin isn't updated to the new, let's say, code base of Game Boy Studio, then it would give errors or things just stop working, and you would have to redesign parts of your game. And by integrating, and that is something that GB Studio seems to do with these major updates, they integrate existing plugins into their own editor, which is a very good thing, because that only means that that there's more functions available out of the box. And that it will remain compatible even with future updates, so that's good. So I'm kind of I would have to redesign a few things in my game because I'm using GB Studio 3.1, which is a pretty old version, and I had some workarounds with some external code as well. So it's going to be pretty, it's not going to be easy to bring it up to make it compatible with the latest GB Studio version. But in the end, it might prove beneficial. So that's something I would have to, figure out. But that's all good. I'm not I don't have any. There's no time pressure, so I can just take my time and make sure that whatever I release is the best possible version. I think that is something I should strive for, and not choose the easy way out. But that is something for I'm definitely gonna do some streaming of the project in the future. Probably next week. But today we're gonna focus on Doom 2 Annie, and let's actually jump in. There we go. What I want to do today is basically focus on I think this area, maybe around here. I was doing that last time as well. There is a little bit of work I have to do here, mainly when it comes to the ceiling. What would be interesting if I were to maybe add some ceiling openings here, or maybe add a little bit of extra detail. Maybe sometimes a change of ceiling might do wonders. Ceiling texture, maybe? Not really sure. Now, this is not gonna be the main area of focus today. What I'm gonna focus on, actually I did a little bit of I very subtly added in a few of the Doom 3 textures, as you can see here, to kind of make that transition a little easier. What I can do maybe is find something else for this, so it gets that Doom 3 vibe a little more. Maybe just something as easy as this, maybe. Give that. Don't want to go too rusty. It could work. I have to be careful with this. I kind of want to stay in the same color space here. I think it will just translate a little better. I think for now could do the trick. There's actually good opportunity here. because although yeah. Maybe not. You know, one thing that would be cool here is actually if I use something with lights, like lights on top here. Is there something within the Doom 3 texture pack that actually has lights on top? If I use like 64 and 128, which is the, you know, Doom 2, like one of the Doom 2 standard heights or like measurements. I don't think I'm gonna find too many Doom 3 textures. Most of them are higher resolution. And, you know, double is, ooh, man, come across these textures I haven't seen in a while. That one is actually not too bad. Not too bad. And of course, there's nothing like with the lights on top. I think I kind of like this texture. It doesn't look like there is a little bit of a color blend, like just a little bit, maybe just enough. What I can do is actually go like that, and then we got like, let's see, can we use this one? So that way it's kind of let's see. There's actually some room to play here. Wait a minute, is it even necessary? I can't. Can actually, instead of having one light, you can just make multiple. Do it like that. There we go. Now so find something for this. It's a little bit too detailed in my opinion. There are very few Doom 3 textures that I feel are suitable in this area. Let's try if we can find something. Just has to scale nicely as well. This one is a little darker. But I don't like the color. The colors right next to each other. Maybe it does look. Maybe it'll look different in game. I'm not really sure. No. Like I said, you know, finding Doom 3 textures that match this area is pretty hard. I kind of wish they like. I really like the conversion. Like the Doom 3 texture pack to Doom 2 textures. What I think would be like an even better move would be to convert them to the Doom 2 color palette. They really blend in color-wise, you know? Would be awesome. I think I'm gonna... That's too much propaganda. I was considering cement textures, but now that I look at it, not too great. I might have had one in the beginning. Maybe I think what I did here is actually use too much of that metal texture, which I think this might be a better option to go for, like a darker or even. Oh, actually, we try this one. think this. No, I'm gonna have to, if I am to use this one, which is possible, do it like this. Then we have to choose something on the side here. Something like this could work. We might be onto something. Just gotta make sure it kind of fits the environment. It doesn't make like, I have to make sure like the texture is, I might have got something, hold on. It is hidden deep in the Doom 3 texture pack, but color-wise, it might work. This one, maybe. Or is it too bright, perhaps? Yeah. God damn it. Restricted access. That's a door, actually. No idea what the hell that is. Most of the Doom 3 textures, I can't recall how they were used in Doom 3. Like, it's not as memorable, you know? Because, like, of course, like a lot of it has to do with the lighting, which completely changes how these textures look. And like, I don't recall any of them, like maybe a few of them being used somewhere. Of course, I haven't played Doom 3 as much as I've played Doom 2 or Doom, but enough to kind of, you know, have a good like idea of how it visually looks. But still, like these texture usage, and that's actually pretty great. That the fact that you like, there's so many distinctive textures, and they kind of blend in so well in the Doom 3 levels that, you know, you just I don't even know how to explain it properly. Can we use that? I kind of feel I need to see it on this side. Could that be? Yeah. Could be. One thing I don't like this is not really as detailed. What I can do here is trying to break these up a little bit. I create this window maybe, and what if I do it like this perhaps? Not too much. Like it does look kind of cool, like something different. These tiny windows here. I'm doing some serious changes. Not entirely sure how well they will blend in. What I can also do is make sure and then we can actually give a different texture to this one. Maybe not that one, but I can see some yeah, I can see some room here to break it up a little bit. And if we can actually break that kind of overused texture maybe, and replace this with like maybe something in the Doom 3 texture pack, then we can slowly, like, you know, it kind of, the more small changes you make, the easier it is to make like these general changes, if that makes sense. Like it becomes easier to select different textures and try something else. You have to like start somewhere, and that's actually the hardest part. Find something that works. Like what usually works really well is actually find something with lights. What we can actually do here is use an inset and for example. This doesn't really serve like a specific purpose. It's just here to yeah, to add some more Doom 3 textures in. That's basically the idea. And what we can do here is take a few of these Maybe just one, I think that will be enough. Ceiling mode, and that is actually a lot easier. That maybe. And this is just purely for the visual style. So what we can do here, like this is actually a very nice way to change texture. And you can actually do it like this, so this connects even better, but well, that actually might not be too bad of a choice, actually. I've been focusing so hard on Doom 3 textures that I could actually use some of these to, you know, break it up a little bit. And now these feel kind of out of place, so I have to find like an alternative. But with these colors, these new colors integrated here, I can maybe choose something that goes along with that as well. So I kind of expanding my options a little bit. And you know, like this is what I mean. See? Like this suddenly looks kind of more acceptable. If that makes sense. What I can do here, oh, actually, already had that. Oh, never mind. There we go. So it kind of blends in a little nicer this way. Of course, the final test is see how it looks in game, but I feel like not every area needs to be completely filled with Doom 3 textures, because this is like a pretty distinctive episode compared to episode 2. And if I can just try to use it sparingly. And the way this helps is like, you know, if some of these textures kind of return, I feel, yeah, this doesn't look too bad. Added this pillar in as well. Now what this area is obviously lacking is of course proper shading. And then it will give at least, you know, like the ceiling here, for example. It will look different. The only thing, like, I would have to make separate sectors for the lights, which is a bit of a hassle. But I think this kind of looks nice. Because what I did was actually for the most part, refrain from using these low ceilings. But you know, they use it in Doom, in the Ultimate Doom mainly. I think maybe in Doom 2 as well. Like, they made these ceilings kind of like, or these windows pretty small, and that's something I actually haven't done too much in my maps. But you know, while we're at it, while we're doing the overhaul, that might be a good time to reconsider like a few design choices. But I think this is like a little bit altered. This area is completely new, this one as well. So it definitely, you know, made some changes. Like we could do something with this as well. It really helps to sell that kind of Doom 3 vibe is actually if we add a little bit of color there as well. And I think maybe red would be fitting. So what we're gonna do is add in some lights, of course. There we go, and I'm gonna use ceiling glow like that. So it's kind of same here. So we're gonna brighten that up a little bit. There we go, and of course, like these levels aren't really as detailed as no, that's not gonna work, as the levels in episode 2. You know, but that's okay. It's actually one of the easiest textures to do this fast. Now this should have a little more meaning to it. So what we can do here is actually introduce maybe some computer panels. Not really sure if Doom 3 is gonna satisfy that. Maybe. There's not too many tech panels. It's kind of weird though, because I guess they handle it differently in Doom 3. I have like these, for example. I have no idea like how even what to use them for. So I have to do some pretty extensive cleanup once I'm done with the final final maps of the mod. Remove all the unused textures There are quite a lot, but you know they don't take up too much space. I think what takes up the most space are the music tracks, I think. I kind of like these because they have like a lot more like a rusty vibe. You know? And what we can do here, and this is actually fun. Now, can do a little bit of a mix. Hold on, let me think. Oh yeah. There we got a screen, and what we're gonna use now is a blue light here. And I think like the combination of red and blue, I think works really well. Let me quickly demonstrate that. So we're gonna lower this, of course. Okay. And if we use this texture right here, oh, we can actually use it for the floor. And then like that. Of course, we need to remove the color. That's actually pretty good. Let's flip this horizontally, put it there. It's a little less effort. I'm not really sure why it actually, yeah, it takes up the properties of one of the other lines that was there. So, but you know, it's all good. I've got a little bit of rusty materials here. I'll use this light here as well. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look. We can actually increase the brightness here, but it kind of, you know, adds a little more color to the map, which I used extensively in episode 2. What I'm probably gonna do here is maybe change this floor into something like a little more with some trims, you know. Maybe there's a good way to check out the Doom 3 floors. Now what I need to do still is also like add proper footstep sounds for the materials, which is gonna take a lot of work. But it is a necessary step. Now I think I've got some rusty panels. This one actually would be, hold on just a second. Before I lose it. Yeah, I think I prefer these. Okay, well at least we tried. Doesn't fit at all. I kind of figured that. You know, there are some options here to do something interesting. Oh dear God. Plane a line. Oh dear God, I have to clean that up. How much is it? I have to clean it up now because it will give me problems in... Oh, well, look at that. If I alter one, it kind of saves. So that's interesting to know. Okay. I was gonna, like, you can create these nice insets here to create like basically like an entirely new floor tile. But I feel we'll see. Maybe if I find like a proper Doom 3 texture, I can actually integrate. But I kind of need like a bigger. Like these are pretty small, so I kind of need to make like four tiles maybe. Can I divide it into 4 tiles? Probably could, but that will require like a lot of editing here, cutting through lines, which I don't really like. So let's see if I can actually find a proper tile which actually doesn't need any additional work. I'm pretty sure there are some tiles available. Like here, for example. You know, I think for this episode, like the key is kind of doing what I did here. Like trying to combine the existing textures into one. If I have like... let's see if I have 128. See what comes out. Maybe. Okay, let's try this. This is not too much, and actually it creates like one thing that I already had. So see, like this is not a lot of effort, and it still remains that like it didn't lose that think at least. Yeah, okay. So what we can do now, and this is what I meant, like if I have a proper tile here, and this texture is obviously too bright. You can do anything here basically, like, you know. Can make it a little sharper. An actual platform. Anything is possible. Now the trick is finding like a proper color. See, like if I can stretch this, for example. Okay, let's try it out. Now, one thing that is a bit of a shame is that it kind of messes up my whole whole alignment here. So basically what I need to do is actually, at least I think that's what I need to do. For but these are two. Ah, that's a bit of a shame. I forgot to take that into account. This one could be a possibility if I reduce the texture scale. This works pretty well. This in mind. Sometimes it can be very simple. But you know, we have like a chance, an opportunity here to use Doom 3 textures, so I basically want to take advantage of that. And if I use something like this, I would have to change a few other things to, would have to change too many textures. It's not really fitting. You could do like these kind of changes. Like if you want, like for example, if you want to use this red kind of theme, then I would have to do it in a different room. Like you can kind of alter certain rooms, but you have to be a little consistent with that. And you know, you could go for this like with the reddish tint, but you would have to kind of like integrate it somewhere else, because otherwise there's like the mix is, there's too much. You don't want to go overboard with these textures. But I feel like, you know, I have a lot of ideas, but I kind of need to restrain myself. I think I need to come to the conclusion that have to stay in this particular vibe. I don't like the color difference. Like I said, you know, these textures would be great if they had like the same Doom 2 color palette. And sometimes it works really well. Sometimes it just completely doesn't. Maybe something like that in a different color variant, but we don't have that, unfortunately. I should sometimes try to look at simple textures. Maybe something. Let's see what I use here. Little warning stripes. A little bit of a yellow tint, so it might have something that there are some textures that have like an integrated warning signal, like this, for example. Do you have some more? And like it doesn't have to be over present. It can be very subtle. I don't know, man. It's a hard one, this one. You know? What we have here, I think. This actually looks really nice. I think it's like more important in this specific episode to kind of lean more towards the Quick 2 style. And just leave like episode 2 to do its separate thing visually. Actually integrate more of these like rock structures. I think they look really good. But you know, it's like one thing I have to take into account is that like each episode takes place on a different planet, which also means like different rock structures, different materials. So I can't use the same rock texture like in each episode. What you can do, actually, we have a nice thing here. Do it like that, and think I might just not really sure if this is even necessary anymore, because they already have like a nice trim. This is a very simple variant of a outer base area, and this is probably gonna need to change like a lot. Depending on what I did here, I'm gonna replace these with actual poly objects, because I feel, you know, 144. So let's actually make some room for some poly objects, and I'm gonna try to do like do something crazy here, like a different shape, something like that. Just like, you know, because I think it looks cool if it spins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can actually add some lights here. Need something with a trim, obviously. Let's see, can we make it? Not really necessary. Okay, but at least we got the correct height now. Something in blue. Can we hold on just a second. If we use this one. Oh wait, you cannot change the color. Yeah. I was gonna say, can we change the color of a specific line depth, but it's only sector colors that you can change. Unless there is something I completely missed. You just never know. But in that case, or, hold on. 1, 2, we can actually use this one. Really nice. What, you know, what actually, what is a great fit are, and this is especially for these rotating poly objects. If you use these bright maps. I wish this was a vertical variant. We can actually use this one. Let's see. What we can do here. Obviously this is too, scale is a little bit too much. I kind of want to like 16, maybe 16 is going to be tough for Doom 3. Very limited, as you can see. Ooh, that actually looks really nice. And we can just, you know, increase the brightness to go insane like this. Really cool. What we're going to use for that one? Something simple like this. Maybe. I kind of wish these textures don't tile. I kind of like the colors, but they don't tile as well as this one. This one is very seamless. And what we can use here maybe is like a couple of these textures with bright maps. I think they look really nice. Only downside is there aren't too many options here. I'm not really sure if this is going to be a nice fit. Maybe. I think it might be overkill. want like a nice repeating texture that has some bright maps in it. And this is a little bit, probably a little bit too much. But it is like, it kind of depends. Let's see. Not really sure what to use here actually. What I can do is lower it and raise this so you don't really see the ceiling. Okay, I think can we just, what if we just increase or decrease the overall brightness? Like that, I think will give a nice contrast. Let's have a look real quick. Well, you know, that's what I like, kind of what I mean. A little bit of visual glitch. You know, like this is actually, if you decrease the general brightness, like if I make these spin fast enough, like there's gonna be like a very nice light spectacle, I think. It's something like, you know, maybe I could just do like a few walls, trying to split it a little more evenly, or mix it with different textures with different bright maps, maybe. But it's something for next time. It's gonna be a short stream tonight, unfortunately, because I have some other stuff to do. So I will be returning. I forgot to drink the last bit of my tea. I will be returning. Well, let's see, what day is it? Probably this weekend. I have to work this weekend, but probably I'll probably return on Sunday. And then we can, you know, actually see this in action. I'll be seeing you guys Sunday. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, and I'll see you soon. Take care.